Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys an update to my Sylvan deck profile for March 2014. The deck has gone through a lot of changes since my last deck profile, but I thought I'd bring you guys the update. Pretty much, I did a lot of testing with some friends, so they gave me some advice. We changed a couple things, added a few new Sylvans, so the deck is a lot more fun now. So I thought I'd show you guys what's in it. The deck will probably change again with more support coming out, including Legacy of the Valiant Deluxe Edition and Primal Origins. But without further ado, let's get started. Pretty much kept the same. I run 3 Sylvan Martial Leaf. This card's pretty much your pop ability when it's excavated, which is the new card play that a lot of the Sylvan monsters use. You destroy a monster on the field. So pretty much he's the pop ability that the deck needs, so you gotta run 3. And I also run 3 Sylvan Peacekeeper. Like all Sylvan cards, including Martial Leaf, when you normal summon this card, you can excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a plant monster, send it to the graveyard, otherwise put it on the bottom of your deck. Peacekeeper has normal and special summon, so you can summon him either way and you can get the excavate effect off. And his other effect is when he himself is excavated, you could special summon 1 level 4 or lower plant type monster from your graveyard onto the field. So it's a really nice card to use, keeps consistency with the deck. Plus, I also run 2 Sylvan Flower Knight. This is pretty much your Elemental Hero Stratus, if you want to call it that, for the deck. When it's normal summon, you can excavate the top card of your deck. When this card is excavated, you can add 1 Sylvan card from your deck to the top of the deck. So, it's pretty good, actually. It's got 1800 attack, so it's a little hard to get over, which is why I only like running 2, though, because it has the search ability, but it doesn't really pop anything, so you can't get too many plays off with it. You can only really get search. I'm also running 2 Sylvan Hermit Tree. I underrated this card in the beginning, and now that I'm playing it, I love to use it. It's a really good card. Once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck. If it is a plant type monster, send it to the graveyard. If you do, draw 1 card. Otherwise, place it on the bottom of your deck. If this card is excavated and sent to the graveyard by a card effect, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then place it on the top of your deck in any order. So he really sets up your plays, and plus, along with excavating a plant type monster, he gives you draw power. And he has 2700 attack points by himself. I took out Titanial in place of this card, which I think is a great substitute. One, he works a lot better with the deck. He's still that lone fire target, so you don't have to tribute summon to get him out. He's just a good card overall. I really like using him. Plus, I also use 3 Sylvan Komoshrumo. Like Martial Leaf pops monsters, Komoshrumo pops spells and traps when he's excavated. And he has the flip effect when he's flipped face up. You excavate the top 5 cards of your deck. So that really sets up a lot of plays. He's got 2,000 defense points, so he is kind of difficult to get around. So you can pretty much set him first turn and have that to play with. Plus, I'm also running 2 Copy Plant. I like Copy Plant pretty much because it is a tuner monster. You can get off synchro plays, and the ability to copy levels of another plant monster on the field, like let's say for example I copy Hermit Tree, I can get off level 8 Exceed summons pretty easily, so I really like using Copy Plant. Plus, I also run 1 Dandelion, pretty much just staple. If it's excavated, I get the 2 tokens, really helps with field consistency. 1 Spore, 2 Lone Fire. Like I said, this card really helps set up my plays. And like a lot of people who've noticed, there are wind monsters, fire monsters, so I am also running 1 Blaster and 1 Tempest. Pretty much Blaster has the targets for Peacekeeper and Copy Plant, while Tempest has the targets for Spore, Copy Plant, and Peacekeeper, while Blaster has the targets for Lone Fire, Hermit Tree, Komoshrumo, plenty of targets to go for these guys. And I also run 1 Debris Dragon, because I do run a lot of low level and attack monsters, so Debris Dragon really helps with easy synchro summon plays. Plus, he's also a target later game for Blaster or Tempest if you need to. That's it for monsters. We'll move on to spells. I run 3 Mount Sylvania. The field spell of the deck, it really helps set up your plays because on your turn you can put a specific Sylvan monster on top of your deck, and during your opponent's end phase you can excavate it. So during your end phase, if your opponent doesn't work around those plays, they're either going to be losing a spell or monster that they have on the field by the end of their turn. So it really forces them to either destroy the Mount Sylvania or just find some other way to get around it by either not playing monsters or spells if they know what card's going to be excavated. I also used to run 2 Call the Haunted, but now I changed it to 2 Miracle Fertilizers. Most of the monsters in this deck are plant, so Miracle Fertilizer is a lot more consistent, and I also like it because if Miracle Fertilizer is destroyed, unlike Call of the Haunted, the monster won't go away. Pretty much when the monster leaves, Miracle Fertilizer goes away, but you don't have to worry about your opponent destroying this card and, losing your monster in the process. So I really like that play. Plus, I run 1/1. Pretty much you could search Copy Plant or Peacekeeper with this card and get off Peacekeeper's effect if possible. And I also run 2 Reasoning. They changed the card text for this card, so now it does say Excavate. It just makes the deck a lot more playable. Pretty much your opponent has to really guess, because all the Sylvan monsters have different levels. There's almost pretty much one for every, if not. I think there's just not like a level 5, 6, or 7, but pretty much your opponent has to be afraid of any other card. Plus the dragons are level 7. So there's really no easy choice for them to pick. They gotta be careful with those plays. Plus, if they do get it wrong, all those cards that get sent, they could accidentally excavate a Sylvan monster that they'll regret later on. Plus, I also run 3 MST. That's pretty much a big fear with this deck, just getting rid of back row, and 1 Dark Hole. So pretty much just staple from there on out. And same goes for traps. For traps, I run 2 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential, 1 Bottomless, 1 Compulse, and 1 Solemn Warning. That is it for the main deck. We'll move on to extra. I run 1 Formula Synchron with Copy Plant and Peacekeeper. It's very easy to get this guy off. And I also run 1 Stardust Dragon and 1 Shooting Star Dragon. Like I said, it is possible to get a lot of synchro plays off, this being 1 included. You can also get off Quasar, just a little more difficult with this deck, not as easy as Lavels, so that's why I prefer just to stick with Shooting Star. Plus I run 1 Balmung, pretty much just preference with either this or Armory Arm. 1 TG Hyper Librarian, 1 Iron Chain Dragon. I run this card over Gaia Knight pretty much because it's a dragon type, in case you need to go into it with Debris Dragon for those synchro plays. 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, 1 Stardust Spark Dragon. I'm really laying down the dragon plays with this deck just to work with Debris Dragon, plus dragon cards are awesome. 1 Crimson Blader, 1 Star Eater, and for Exceed monsters, I run 1 Heliopolis. Pretty much with this card, it only requires 2 level 8s, and once per turn you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, tribute any number of monsters from your hand and or your side of the field, then destroy a number of cards equal to those on the field. So pretty much my main plays to get this out include Hermit Tree and Copy Plant. And after that goes off, I can use his effect to get rid of low attack point monsters on the field, like let's say Peacekeeper, that I can send to the graveyard, use later, and destroy other ones of my opponent's monsters in the process. So Heliopolis really helps. Plus 1 Lava Vault Chain, it helps set up plays, 1 Daigusto Phoenix, and 1 Slacker Magician. So that's it for the deck profile. Do expect this deck to change again once we get more supports for Sylvans. They're only going to get better. Definitely recommend checking out the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.